Ready, Jen?
Yeah.
Okay. It is Thursday, June 13th, 2024, 5 p.m. This is a regular monthly board meeting in the Augsburg Bridge and Port Authority, and I call this meeting to order. Mr. Lawrence, are there any letters of communications to the board?
No, Mr. Chairman, but at this time, we'd like to entertain comments from the public as it relates to our airport AES decisions.
Okay, thank you. We'll do that. We will allow anyone who would like to speak. Please state your name for the record. Please try to keep it to 2 minutes. We will listen to your comments. Then we will move forward with the a resolution from someone on the board. So you can be here when we do that. And, you're certainly welcome to stay for the whole meeting, but I don't really feel you would like to.
Thanks.
So,
Is there any entertainment?
No, sorry. There's no snacks.
This is the entertainment. So anyone, Brenda, if you'd like to speak?
Go ahead. Oh, no, I'm too shy.
Well, you've changed since high school.
I will, are you gonna speak?
You go ahead.
Okay, San Lamasha, past board member, chairman of the board. I was trying to recapitulate all the thoughts and processes that this board went through 10 years ago. And one of the things was the desire to make an economic impact on this area. And that impact was to build a bigger, better airport with better service. It was, at first, there was a conflict of interest with two engineering companies, and we had to take on a different company that would give us the right direction where we need to go, in which that's the company you have today. So with that, it was a 10-year permitting process, and we did it in 3 years. And so it was intense. Steve will tell you, and Megan and other people here will tell you that we need to go in a different direction. Cape Air was here, and Urbani and those people were fantastic for us. They provided service. And now we embark another vision of enhancing what we started. And I think this board is on task for that. I think you people know what's at stake. And I think that's an important thing to consider and whatever. I make a brief comment about Contour. It was nice that they put a bid in. I think to me was the questions from the public side. I won't say myself personally. The public side was they lost confidence in Contour Airlines. They lost confidence. Now maybe their business model will be better. Where okay, maybe you never shut the door. You maybe 3 years from now come back to those people who say they enhanced SkyWest, which was here, and you know that can make them a possible partner later on. But I think when you looked at Breeze, and you people did a great job looking at Breeze, the players for Breeze are the same players for Allegiant here. Okay, and I met with Eric and Lucas Johnson and all those people, Maury and all those guys at Allegiant, you know, whatever, they were supposed to stay here, whatever they're gonna do. Well, obviously, COVID changed that. And no fault of anybody else, but that's the problem we ran into. Now, basically, you're starting over again. You're basically starting all over again because all those business models that you had, okay, just dissipated, whatever. So now you're back at task, okay, bringing in Breeze. They have a marketing model to go to IAD, and I really believe that's just a test. That's just a test of the market. I believe that they were going to go there, and I know Eric and Lucas, okay, they are fundamentally going to take you on a journey. I really do. And so that being said, I think that's all I can say is you've got a task at hand. You got a new fundamental or a new terminal building coming and those type of things, whatever. I didn't really look all the plans of the terminal building, but I do hope that there is a jet bridge somewhere in that development. I don't know if it is or not, but I don't need your response now, but somewhere along the line, that needs to be part of your long-range plan or your short-range plan to make that happen. When I watched a lot of people, and I took a lot of flights on Allegiant, when you come off that plane, okay, from Florida, and you gotta walk in the terminal building for a 2-minute walk off the ramp down there, wherever, that's very uncomfortable. So the marketing part is the next part, and how you market this is really, really an important element. We contacted people in Ottawa because that was the marketing people that we really needed. We didn't need marketing people from New York because we all know we're gonna live through Canada. We're gonna live through Canada. So that's my comment. I thank you for the extra minute or two I got, but I appreciate what all you people are doing as board members to dedicate yourself to what you're doing, how you're doing it. It's kind of like a silent business here because so few people impact so many people in many ways. And what you people do and decisions you make, you don't realize what's happening. So thank you for your service, okay? And good luck in the future, whatever you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your comments. Ma'am?
Hi, my name is Wendy Hamilton. I'm a recent immigrant to Ogdensburg from the South, actually. One of the reasons that sort of solidified my decision to come to Ogdensburg when I was looking at a number of places was the fact that it had an airport close by, and there was a hospital, there was good schools, but the airport was important to me. And I was able to take a flight out to DC shortly after I moved here on a previous, with the previous carrier. And then was sort of like, oh no, they've pulled out, now what? Who's gonna fill in? So I will tell you that I try to take a look at this from a DOT point of view because I know they're the ones that make the decision ultimately, and that, but they listen to you heavily and to the public. And so from what I understood about what the requirements are, Breeze is going to need kind of a waiver on several different areas. It's a large plane, they don't have an interline agreement, et cetera, et cetera. And then I know contours under the AES, which I know presents a little bit of a financial risk to the OBPA. So there's, those things to weigh because Breeze would get their money directly from the government. But I do think that Breeze is very optimistic to have 138 passenger plane, or they call it 130 seats basically, leaving here once a day at 7:30 at night to go to Dulles. I just don't know how many people are going to be on that flight. I've been to Dulles at 9:30 at night. Nothing's leaving, nothing's going. So you are going to a hotel. So I guess the interline agreement at that point doesn't matter because you got to leave anyway. Got to go to a hotel and come check back in, or take a metro line to DC, take a $70 taxi to DC, the other DC. So to me, I think it's very optimistic. I think their presentation or their proposal was very scanty, and maybe there's supplementary material somewhere that I couldn't find, but the numbers, I couldn't back into the numbers based on, their capacity, even their completion rates. I couldn't see how those numbers added up. Whereas Contour, otherwise known as the devil we know, and I'm not a fan because they stranded me. They stranded me for 2 Christmases. I didn't see my son, and I got on the phone because I was mad. But then you look at what else was happening weather-wise and across the country and the completion rates and all of that, okay. But their big problem was communication, lack of it. The ground crew, our people at the airport were fabulous. They were absolutely tremendous. Contour, not so much. But he sincerely said to me that they think they fixed it. I like the SkyWest investment there because that can give us some future. Breeze, I just don't, I know that most of the public, the comments were all, oh, yay, Florida, 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 Florida. With all due respect, I love Canadians. I'm Canadian. But I want you to come to this airport for more than just Florida, because you can have, Philadelphia is a great hub, and it's a great city to do a weekend trip in, actually. So, you know, Florida is great, but how many times do they go? And how many are going? And what other, all my friends right now have been going for years to Syracuse because they can stay at a hotel, they can park their car there for the week or 2 weeks and get the shuttle to the airport. They do it because it's cost effective for them to take that 3-hour drive. I will say that the other thing that worries me about Breeze is that they want the right to bail if their circumstances change. And I saw that in their proposal and I'm like, then where are we at? If year one, these optimistic things don't happen, then what happens? And I don't know if DOT would allow them to have that right to bail, but that makes me very nervous. Like I said, I've been talking to a lot of people who would prefer to go with the devil we know and use that opportunity with SkyWest to further develop our capabilities than go with a large plane that goes nowhere once a day. I won't be on that flight. I won't be. But I think the last thing I'd like to say is it takes a lot for an individual to dig through to find all this information. And I am very much a proponent of educating the community because when they know, they can help. And so everyone right now thinks that Florida is still on the table as a direct flight, and it's not because of the rules. So I think we could do a better job of educating the community about when this sort of thing happens, and not always at the last minute. You know, this has been like a month now, I guess, that the actual proposals were received. And I think we could have done a better job of just circulating the information and making people aware. But I thank you for your time, and I do appreciate your service, and I do appreciate that these are complex matters. But I would urge you that whatever resolution that you make, a city council made, did support Breeze, but make no mistake, that's 5 individual opinions. There was no time to solicit the community. They don't represent the community's view in totality. That was 5 personal opinions. And so I would just say, please make your reasons very clear as to why you would support one over the other, so that, again, the community understands, instead of inferring and making rumors and, oh, somebody's pocket, and you know how it goes. So that's all I would suggest. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brenda?
Brenda Lalone. I was one of the people that was stranded at the airport with Contour, and I was not happy. But I was at the last meeting also, and I opened up to what everybody had to say. And Breeze, he didn't seem to have it together compared to the other CEOs, and he promised an awful lot, but to me, he wasn't backing it up. And I certainly would not be taking an airline at 7 at night, no matter where they're going. Contour, I talked to him privately after also, and I think he was very sincere. And he saw the problems that had happened. And the marriage with SkyWest and booking through American, and that's what I had done when I had gotten stranded. And thank God, because the airline was saying, oh, you got to buy a new ticket. And I said, wait a minute, I booked through American. And so that saved me. And when I went into that meeting at the airport, I was very negative against them. But listening to everybody, I felt better about Contour after the presentations of everyone. I felt Boutique was top heavy. He was putting on a show. You know, he had, you know, the operations man and the finance woman and this and that. And I listened to a lot of people from the scene, you know. In Contour, yeah, it's not a direct flight, but a lot, no matter where you're going nowadays, most of them aren't direct. So you're caught in that. So if he can come through with his promises, and he personally told me he'd give me his private number to him. So that made me also believe what he was saying. Now, whether he told the truth or not, I don't know. So I felt like I had some more trust again in Contour. So that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Ms. Hamilton brings up a good point. I'll turn to Charlie, and I'm sorry, Charlie is our airport manager, and ask, make it clear that I read the proposal maybe differently, or the way I looked at it. And the contract for Breeze, was there any time in a 3-year period, which is what they're offering, that they could actually get out of the contract?
There was in the letter, in the letter in the front, that, and I just want to make sure the communication gets through clearly, is that after 3-year term, that they don't want to be held in the contract.
Okay.
So it's not that they can leave within the 3-year, it's that after 3 years. So right now, if they take the contract date from October 1st of this year, 3 year down the line on September 30th, they don't want to hold in after September 30th. They want to, that day is the end of their contract.
Okay. All right. While we're discussing it, the board as a whole, you know, we're in a tough spot. I don't want to say anything negative about any one of the airlines. I'm grateful that we have 3 companies interested in providing air service to the North Country for whatever community they've been in the past and are now. We thank them for at least having the interest in providing the service. So unfortunately, you know, there are certain details that I think some of the board members are privy to because of some of the committees we have. Not every board member is on a committee that deals with the airport like every day. So there's some details that not all of us might be aware of. There are certain things that we've had a difficult time dealing with an airline. It makes it more difficult for us financially. I don't want to go there again because of the problems it's caused the authority. So that has made my mind up as far as eliminating that particular airline. You know, I wish them all well, however we decide. But again, there's certain details that, you know, I think the board has to consider and move forward. And we do have the resolution. I have that in front of me from the city council, I believe was Monday night. Yeah, Monday night on June 10th, supporting the proposal from Breeze Airlines as a preferred proposal. Just to state that we have received that. And we thank the city council for even offering a resolution. So I believe Patty has 3 resolutions. And if any board member would like to move one forward, she can hand that resolution to you. You can read it and we can discuss further. If anyone would like to let her know which airline you would like to move the motion forward to the board. Anyone? Again, you're putting it in motion. If you have a second, we can discuss it. And, it depends on how the vote goes on the particular resolution, and we can go from there.
So I would take the opportunity to move the proposal for Breeze.
There need to be a second.
I'll second.
Oh, thanks, Steve.
If you would read that,
I will, just the report in the resolution, or do you want me to
vote.
vote? Okay. So the Essential Air Service, EAS, provides a vital link for air travelers to the National Air Transportation System. The current EAS service provided by Contour Airlines expires September 30th, 2024. The United States Department of Transportation, USDOT, through docket DOT-OST-1997-2842, solicited essential air service proposals for Ogdensburg International Airport. Proposals were received by USDOT from the following: Boutique Air, Breeze Airways, and Corporate Flight Management Incorporated, doing business as Contour Airlines. In selecting a carrier to provide subsidized EAS for an eligible place not in Alaska, 49 USC section 41733 subsection C subsection 1 directs the department to consider 5 factors: service reliability, contractual and marketing arrangements with a large carrier at the hub, interline arrangements with a larger carrier at the hub, community views, giving substantial weight to the views of the elected officials representing the users, and whether the carrier has included a plan in its proposal to market its service to the community. Community/public comments have been solicited through public presentations and council meetings. Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority Board and staff have reviewed the proposals as submitted by the airlines. It was felt that Breeze Airways offered the best option to provide essential air service at Ogdensburg International Airport. The Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority Board and staff strongly recommend that the Department of Transportation accept the option submitted by Breeze Airways as outlined below. 7 nonstop flights per week to Washington Dulles IAD on a 137-seat Airbus A220 at a subsidy of $8.8 million for the first year and a 3% increase per year in subsequent years. Whereas Essential Air Service provides a vital transportation link to the National Air Transportation System, be it resolved that the Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority Board and staff strongly recommend the United States Department of Transportation select Breeze Airlines EAS proposal to provide essential air service to Ogdensburg International Airport effective October 1st, 2024, with 7 nonstop flights per week to Washington Dulles IAD on a 137-seat Airbus A220 at a subsidy of $8.8 million in the first year and a 3% increase per year in subsequent years.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion.
I will, I appreciate, like Sam had said, that the city council came together in support of an airline. And I have also listened to folks in the community as well. I will say the lack of an interline arrangement with Breeze makes me very nervous. And as we heard in public comment tonight, folks, to arrive into a connecting airport at 7 o'clock at night, there's part of your travel.
9:30, sorry, 9:30 at night.
Was it 9:30?
Yeah.
Okay.
They leave.
Okay, military time on that. And so I can see that that's not going to be an option that most folks are going to want to go when stranded in an airport. possibly overnight, with lack of connecting flights. As somebody that travels with children, this wouldn't be an option for me. So I in good confidence, have to throw that out there. So I'd just like to say that.
Thank you. And so Charlie, you've been through this before. Is that an issue that we can discuss with Breeze if they're chosen, that particular time isn't the best?
So that with the community comment, I have contacted Breeze regarding to that. So that has already been resolved. So that time you're seeing is not going to be the time. So they have submit that time purely because when you submit a EAS proposal, DOT really doesn't require you to put a schedule on there. They just care about the frequency of when you fly.
Okay.
So I think Breeze's intention was put the time down, but their thing is they have connected with DOT and myself is that they will instead of night departure, there will be an afternoon departure and arrival.
Okay. So they're open to discussion with us
Correct.
if they're
Correct.
selected.
Correct.
Good. Good.
And that's happened in the past, correct? With
Correct.
our EAS and our alternate EAS, that they have changed routes even within that 3-year
Exactly.
period. I mean, that
Contour
is not uncommon.
Contour has done that
Mhm.
with the time change and everything. Adding a heavy, Tuesday and a Saturday flight instead of their normal flight. Tuesday, Saturday only have two flights. But during the summer month, they did 2 departure and 2 arrivals.
And Charlie, is it an option for Breeze to expand and add different destinations under this contract? Or are we married for 3 years to IAD?
Under federal subsidy, yes, only to IAD.
Because of the subsidy.
Correct.
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
Okay. If you think about the big picture, everybody has their opinion, it's all acceptable. I look at Breeze as they have no gate in IAD. So why are they going to IAD? Because they want to get into that market there. That's what they do. And after they establish that market, okay, the people here will get on that plane, fly into IAD. Also, the people from Baltimore, Washington, DC people are going to get on another plane that's going to take them someplace else. So they're not just going to drive that plane in and out to Ogdensburg. That plane's going to go someplace else. So their marketing plan is in disguise. It's in disguise. And you've probably been to Jumpstart and Roots and all that stuff. So you know the interlocking system of all these airlines, okay, know where everybody's going and what market's best for them. That's what you bought into. That's what you just bought into. Okay, so that's my comment.
Right. Thank you. Obviously, the comments that I heard last Tuesday and from the city council and tonight, the schedule, which seems to can be adjusted.
They are willing to adjust it. There's no
Good.
with them. They're open to adjust it.
Okay. In the interline agreement, understanding that whoever is selected, this doesn't start until October 1. So the airline has time to do other things. In Breeze's case, they have time to do this interline agreement. And I think certainly from what we've heard from the public, and I'm sure they've heard from the public, this interline agreement, the sooner they can get in place, the better. So they're aware of that. What their plans may be in the future outside of EAS, we can't even discuss. We certainly hope that, if they're willing to do something outside of EAS, that's great, but there's no guarantee on the table. All we are discussing is the 7 flights per week from here to DC. Any other comments?
Just a question, because today they don't have a gate. I would assume if they don't get a gate, is that correct?
I think they do have it. So with this, they have reserved a gate in
This would
DC.
get done.
Correct.
That my question goes.
Correct.
I just, if they didn't have a gate, I was just concerned.
Right,
And we chose them.
right.
What implication do we have of that?
Laying on the grass. Yeah.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
I'm sorry. I'm sure I was ill and missed meetings, but could you just give an overview again of what is the interline agreement?
So there's a really big confusion there too with an interline and directly affiliated.
Okay.
So interline means that they work with airline. So with Contour you can transfer your whole ticket through American. Let's say you book with them. But for example, the difference between that interline and directly affiliated, it's Watertown. It's directly affiliated with American. So with them, right now with Contour, they gave you one straight ticket. But if something happened within Contour can change your ticket. They don't have the system to change your ticket.
Okay.
So now you calling American saying that, hey, change my ticket. I can't make Contour was not available to make to Philly.
Okay.
Instead of in Watertown, they can do it right at the local computer, rebook your whole trip again.
Okay.
So that's the difference between interline and directly affiliated. I think that's the confusion some people has.
Could you speak then just very like about Breeze, like where does Breeze stand with interline versus directly affiliated?
So Breeze is gonna do interline, same thing like Contour Airlines gonna have.
Okay.
So they're again, to have the idea, on their stuff, on their proposal, they have promised by the end of 2024 they will have an interline. But and I totally get it. With Breeze, the interline is the risk we're taking. That's totally a risk for sure. But also we gotta have to also looking at with Contour. There's also every airline has their pros and cons.
Right.
I can tell you all of them. But we just have to weigh our difference of who do we think is the best to continue forward for the authority.
Of course.
So let me just devil's advocate ask a question. I'm sure I'm gonna be unpopular after tonight's meeting. But that's okay. Broad shoulders. So let's just say October 1st rolls around and somebody goes on to book a ticket through Breeze if they're the successful folks. It obviously makes our essential air would bring them to IAD.
Yep.
And then what if, let's just say they wanted to fly to, I don't know, Plano, Texas.
Okay.
What does that flight look like? I know that we hope that there's going to be an interline agreement, but until the ink is dry, there's not one, right? So on October 1st, what does that flight look like for me if I decide I want to fly from Ogdensburg to Plano, Texas?
So great question. So it will be you have to buy a ticket from Ogdensburg to IAD, and then again, you have different carriers in IAD that you want to book your ticket through. I mean, United, American, those are two big carriers in there. So you have to book a separate ticket to go from IAD to Plano, Texas.
Okay, so I would have to be able to have the wherewithal to be able to do that.
Correct.
And then my luggage, should they transfer my luggage?
They would not.
Okay, so essentially, I'm on my own.
But they wouldn't transfer if you were carry-on.
Correct. Carry on.
Only if you check a bag.
Your check bag.
So you check back, they will
Carry-on,
transfer.
You can go from.
I have curses besides.
So,
I don't travel.
and again, I mean, some
But it's
people,
important.
Travel light.
It's important to know that, but that's not, I mean,
Some
you're doing an overnighter or a business trip, that means you're going on a week-long family vacation, you're not packing in.
exactly. So, and then also,
At 9 o'clock at night.
double side of that, some people nowadays, they have what we call a mobile boarding pass. So IAD is one of those airports that if you have a mobile boarding pass with another airline, if you just carry your carry-on, let's say, at that point, you no longer need to get out of security. And you can roll right into whatever next gate you need to go on and get on your next airline. But again, that's not most the case. I'm just saying that can be the case.
There's a reverse side to this. The reverse side is, and this is what I've done numerous times. I found out with Contour, if I book with Contour and my baggage is here and goes to Philly, if I didn't tell them that I was making American Airlines crossover, okay, I had to go get my luggage. So that has to be done here. That has to be done here. So the reverse side of what I'm just thinking of what you're dealing with is you're thinking of Breeze going from Augsburg to DC. Okay? Think the reverse side, which I've done, okay? I've flown Frontier into Philly, I've flown United into Philly, okay, get on the flight, either I'm gonna go to Watertown or I'm gonna come to Ogdensburg. And those are the type of things we do. So now if I'm gonna go with Breeze, I want to get into Ogdensburg. I don't want to deal with the snow belt, I don't want to deal with all that stuff, okay? And I fly a lot. So to me, now, once you go to IAD, if it's a 7 o'clock flight, wherever they turn flight, whatever their return is, okay, they gotta bring the plane from there back to you. And so I will coordinate my ticket with whoever goes into IAD. And that's what I'll do. That's what I'll do.
Good, thank you. Anyone else?
Still means you gotta get your luggage though.
Okay.
Which is not.
Anyone else? Any other discussion? Motion's been made and seconded. Jen, call the roll, please.
Mr. Neal?
No.
Mr. King?
Yes, excuse me, yes.
Ms. Hickman? I'm sorry, I was under the impression we were going to go through all of them and then vote at the end. Okay. Yes. Mr. Burns?
Yes,
Ms. Wynn?
Yes.
it's 4 affirmative, 1 negative. Motion passes. Okay, thank you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for
Our
listening.
meeting, all of our meetings are open to the public, just so you know.
Thank you. But this is I mean, it's too much for me personally. This was an important issue, so, but I appreciate that they are open and that you're willing to listen. And I do wish us as a community good luck with Breeze, because I guess now we have to be positive about it if that is what DOT selects. So I won't be naysaying it or anything.
I appreciate the
Thank
amount
you.
of time and the
Yeah.
knowledge that you put into this. You really researched
Well
that.
researched.
I was very impressed with that.
Oh,
A lot
thank
of
you.
people that I've talked to, you did your homework.
Oh, well, here if you want it. You know. I took the DOT approach, you know, it's a graph.
I like
I left boutique air
It'll
off
help
just
me.
because, yeah, I left boutique air off just. Thank
Thank you, Brenda, thank you.
Thank you.
Sam, thank
Good
you. Okay, so, what time is it, 26?
5:30.
You have to leave at a.
6:15, 6:24.
So I would need a motion to modify the agenda, so we go right into business items. Is there a motion?
I'll make that. I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor of amending the agenda, so we move into business items, say yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Let's go into agenda item B1.
Okay, approval.
I'm sorry, there was no unfinished business, right?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. B1.
All right, approval of lease agreement with Daniel Day Dodge, LCSWR. Staff has negotiated a new lease agreement with Daniel Day Dodge, LCSWR, for 170 square feet of office space in Suite 207A of the Bridge Administration Building for a 1-year period commencing July 1st, 2024, and terminating June 30th, 2025, at a rate of $16.50 per square foot, equaling $233.75 per month, or $2,805 for the 1-year period, inclusive of utilities. Mr. Dodge has been with us since 2001 in this building, so 23 years. This reflects approximately 10% increase over his last lease, the lease from last year, and that's as a result of trying to right-size our rental rates here in this building.
Good tenant.
Yes, very good. So the resolution is before you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Not, Jen, call the roll, please.
Yes.
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 Thank you. Agenda item C1.
Okay, approval of lease supplement number 1 with Day Automation. Staff has negotiated lease supplement 1 with Day Automation for 2,324 square feet of office and warehousing space in Building 4 of the Commerce Park campus for a one-year period commencing June 1st, 2024 and terminating May 31st, 2025 at a rate of $6 per square foot, equaling $1,162 per month, or $13,944 for the one-year period, exclusive of utilities. All other terms and conditions of the original lease agreement shall remain in full force and effect and are hereby ratified and affirmed. We're pleased to have Day Automation continue to be a tenant in our Commerce Park. They keep a very nice presence, and it's something to be proud of to have them. So.
This is the first lease extension with them, is that?
Yes, so we did when they expanded with us and took warehousing space, we did a whole new lease.
Okay,
So this starts the clock again, but yes, they've been a tenant since 2018.
good. Is there a motion
Also move.
made and seconded? Any discussion? Jen, call the roll, please.
Can I just quickly,
Yes.
I'm gonna
Yes.
ask as my, our ethics officer, if I work in a district that contracts with them, should I, okay.
She should abstain.
So
Abstain.
I'm going to abstain from this.
Thank you.
That just hit me. Actually, I was like, yeah, they're great.
Did you just finish your colleague?
Yes,
Yes.
with one abstention. Agenda item C2.
Okay, approval of lease supplement number 3 with KDM Analytics Incorporated. Staff has negotiated lease supplement number 3 with KDM Analytics Incorporated for 211 square feet of office space in building 1 of the Commerce Park campus for a one-year period commencing September 1st, 2024, terminating August 31st of 2025 at a rate of $16.50 per square foot, equaling $290.13 per month, or $3,481.50 for the one-year period, exclusive of utilities.
Thank you. Is there a motion
I'll make a motion.
made,
Second.
then seconded? Any discussion? Jen, call the roll, please. Yes.
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 Agenda item D1.
Okay, approval of T-Hanger lease agreement with Rich Kelly. Staff has negotiated a new lease agreement with Rich Kelly for T-Hanger number 9 at the Ogdensburg International Airport for a one-year period commencing June 1st, 2024 and terminating May 31st of 2025 at a rate of $240 per month, or $2,880 for the one-year period, inclusive of utilities. Mr. Kelly's a new tenant. We're happy to have him, and he'll be here for at least a year, but hopefully many more.
Did he approach you, Charlie?
No, he actually approached Anthony.
Oh, he's got-
Now you're taking over the airport?
Look at you.
Full cross.
He's eating your lunch, Charlie. Don't let him do it.
Drinking your motion.
Is there a motion
I'm with it.
made and seconded? Any discussion? Jen, call the roll, please.
Ms. Whitten?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. King? Mr. Pickens? Ms. Pickens? Mr. Burns?
Yes. Agenda item D2.
Okay, approval of corporate hangar lease agreement with Timothy Birch. Staff has negotiated a new lease agreement with Timothy Birch for space in the corporate hangar at the Ogdensburg International Airport for a 4-month and 9-day period commencing May 23rd of 2024 and terminating September 30th of 2024 at a rate of $240 per month, or $1,029.68 for the specified period, inclusive of utilities. Mr. Birch has been a longtime seasonal tenant of ours. When we started to develop a wait list for annual T-Hanger tenants, we were conflicted on what do we do with our seasonal folks. So working with Charlie and his team, we've made the corporate hangar a shared facility only during the summer months. So we can fit possibly 2, depending on the
3.
size, maybe 3 private planes in one shared hangar. So
Now, which one is a corporate hangar?
The one
The
where
one
we
that-
put our snow removal
Transient
equipment.
hangar, we used to call it the transient.
Transient,
Okay,
yes.
Okay.
Are they all able to easily access it? If all 3 are in the hangar,
Yes.
they can easily, all of them can get out.
And So currently, Mr. Birch is the only one in there, but we expect one more to come in over the summer, so.
Why the 9 days?
What's that?
I just saw it. I was like, it was bothering
I
me.
couldn't, he needed to get
He was
in
requested, I think.
Yeah, he
Okay.
needed to get in early, and
I'm happy to accommodate. I was just like, that's a really random. Like, I'm not understanding. Okay. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Hey, if he needs
That's
9
true,
days.
Right, is there a motion? Made and
I'll second.
seconded. Any discussion? Any further discussion? If not, Jen, call the roll, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Bird?
Yes.
Yes.
Agenda item E1.
Okay, approval of lease agreement with Woodcrest Dairy LLC. Staff has negotiated a lease agreement with Woodcrest Dairy LLC for approximately 42 acres of vacant land consisting of 14 acres east of the Yakko property and approximately 28 acres on the Arnold Wagner Road for a period commencing May 1st, 2024 and terminating November 30th of 2024 at a rate of $60 per acre or $2,520 for the lease period. In addition, the lease gives the authority the option to cancel the lease with 60 days notice should the need arise that a major industrial project requires the acreage. Also included in this agreement is the requirement for Woodcrest Dairy LLC to provide proof of appropriate insurance coverage to the authority, naming the Ogdensburg Bridgeport Authority as an additional insured. This is a longstanding agreement that we use to maintain the property in lieu of commercial development at this time.
Right, standard, we've done this, I don't know for how many years.
Yeah.
Maybe 15.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Made
Second?
and seconded. Any discussion? Not, Jen, call the roll, please.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. King?
I would abstain.
Okay. Mr. King?
Yes.
Yeah. Mr. Bird?
Yes.
Yes.
There's a lot of abstentions going on tonight.
Very proud of our ethics though.
Everybody just went through the ethics. Went through their ethics training, I think, lately. Agenda item F1.
Okay, approval of easement agreement with Niagara Mohawk Power Corporation. Staff has negotiated in concurrence with Vermont Rail Systems, an easement agreement with Niagara Mohawk Power Corporation to clear, install a gravel lot, and have access to a portion of New York and Ogdensburg Railroad property not to exceed 1/10 acre located in Norfolk, New York, adjacent to existing Niagara Mohawk Power Corporation infrastructure for a period of 5 years commencing June 1st, 2024 and terminating May 31st of 2029 at a rate of $3,175 per year. An aerial image of the easement area is provided as Exhibit A of this resolution, and that aerial shows you where they would have access to, so clear, and that's so they can get to their substation for
Right.
repair and maintenance.
Makes sense.
Good. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion's been made
I'll second.
and seconded. Any discussion? Not, Jen, call the roll, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Ms. Pittman?
Yes.
Mr. Bird?
Yes,
Ms. Whitman?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
thank you. Ms. Whitten, if you would, I need to be excused for a bit. If
Absolutely.
you would handle what's left, please.
That's right. We have agenda item H under other such matters. It's approval for a contract with Luck Brothers, Inc. for the Border Station Pavement Resurfacing Project. Steve?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. As part of the border station lease with the General Service Administration, repaving of selected area of the border station asphalt pavement has been requested. The pavement in these areas was installed in 2003 and is in need of resurfacing. On June 6th of 2024, 3 bids were received and publicly opened for the border station pavement resurfacing project. Following is a tabulation of bids received. Luck Brothers Incorporated, a bid amount of $251,200. There was a contractor, Barrett Paving, their bid amount was $254,534. And J. Bianco Construction LLC, their bid amount was $467,700. Tisdale Associates has performed extensive evaluation and due diligence of all bids and has confirmed the low qualified bidder as Luck Brothers and recommends that this project be awarded to Luck Brothers for a cost not to exceed $251,200. The low bid amount is below the project budget of $300,000. This project funding was included in the 24-25 OBPA capital improvement and repair budget. Resolved that the executive director is hereby authorized and directed to execute any and all documents associated with the contract documents with Luck Brothers for the forestation pavement resurfacing project for a total cost not to exceed $251,200.
Do I have a motion? Or questions, comments?
Yeah, I had a question. Is this for the project in its entirety, or, I mean, I know we had talked before about it being done in phases,
Yeah,
and not all in, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
it's part of that phase.
Okay, well, are you getting to that, Steve? I didn't mean to interrupt
No,
you.
no,
Okay, okay.
no. Yeah,
So
I
what
can-
section is this, like, where are we starting?
Okay, just for anyone general, it's mostly everything above the inspection booths. Where you come in, that gets the most heavily trafficked, is getting rutted, especially in lane one, because cars sit there a long time. So, that area is really kind of degraded over time. And then there's two areas, one is where trucks turn, well, actually both of them are where the trucks turn, and when they do, their tires grind. And it constantly, that's been in rough shape for the last 5 years. That part of that is totally gonna be taken out completely and rebuilt. But it's not, when you look up there, it's not the whole parking lot, everything that, it's just a selected area.
Right.
Just for your information, part of, we've got a bridge project in the work, and part of that is resurfacing everything up to the toll booth. But in this case, this has gone on too long that we need to address GSA and CBP's concerns. We've already been kind of a year behind of what their request was, so we're doing the worst things first in getting that serviceable, and then we imagine come next season, we'll have everything done there.
Okay.
So, but it was all part of the phase thing is what you're saying.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, and I was just wondering I just needed sort of a visual of where the work was taking place, so thank you.
Will they be closing down lane one while they do it?
Probably,
So
and
they'll
and
just,
we'll work with them. It'll be a milling and type of thing where they'll be taking up all the asphalt. It's just what you came through.
So much.
And then they'll retop that, but to your question, yeah, they'll pick up either lanes one or two or three, pave that, and then move over.
all right, so there may be minimal delays, hopefully.
I would expect so. And it should be a short project in the sense that this isn't a lot of paving, and people like Luck Brothers and Barrett's, they know how to do this pretty quickly.
Mhm.
Then this won't start until
Yeah,
September. So
even though we
After
feel
summer.
we're on top of things, but when you've got to slot everything in, I think if we waited any longer, we'd be out for the season, and then we'd be knocked out
All right.
of being able to do it this year. So that's kind of why we're bringing it to you so quickly.
Okay. So roughly September?
September, so that
Yeah.
a lot of the
I
summer
think October
traffic
15th, the
will
plant shut
also
down.
have started to reduce.
Right, okay. Thank you.
Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Second?
Second.
Clerk call the roll?
Spencer?
Yes, Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Melvin? Yes. Mr. King?
All right. Do we have anything else? All right. I think now we can go back into the reports. We can go back to the top of the meeting agenda. Okay. All right. Do we have any letters and communication to the board?
No, we don't.
So we have approval of the board minutes, April 5th, 2024 board meeting, the May 9th, 2024 Finance Committee meeting, and the May 9th, 2024 Board meeting.
All 3 sets of minutes were reviewed. Move for their approval.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? of
Aye.
approval? All right. We just did that. Okay. So we have committee reports. The Finance Committee?
So the finance committee met earlier this evening, and we went over the April financials, which is kind of our first month of the fiscal year. So our monthly year to date was the same. And I'm going to turn it over to Patty to just go over those with the rest of the board.
If we start with our statement of financial position, just looking quickly, our accounts receivable regular, which does not include our AEAS, 94% of our regular accounts receivable is either current or 1 to 30 days. So we are still very much on track on keeping our accounts receivable in a timely fashion. Our EAS receivable includes both what Contour owes us and what DOT owes us. We're looking at, only because of the way the month fell, we're looking at 2 months worth of US DOT. We look down at our accounts payable regular. You'll see that our regular accounts payable is 622. Our AES Contour is at 378, which is 1 month's payment to Contour. Our New York State retirement is still at 124, and our project accounts payable is at 857. For those of you who have been following this, we have been working with Watertown Savings Bank to receive a line of credit for the airport revitalization project. Happy to announce that it has indeed been approved. We've had some very good meetings with Watertown Savings Bank. So all of the project accounts payable will be paid tomorrow. We got our first advance on the line of credit. So all of our project accounts payable will be up. And then we just wait the additional time. It's about 45 days instead of 30 for it to be returned to us. Because as the OBPA has McFarland Johnson, New York State has a company called WSP who has to review the packet before it goes to DOT for final review. So it adds a couple of extra days to the timeline. But we have a lot of credits in very good stead. You will notice on the second page with our accounts payable that most of those top 10 vendors, we are making strides to keep paid or paid up to the current amount so that we're not falling too far behind while we wait for this line of credit to get finalized. Any questions on the statement of financial position? If not, we'll go to the April budget to actual, which, as Nicole indicated, our monthly and our actual are the exact same because we're running at 1 month of the new fiscal year. I'll just make a couple of statements on our revenue and expenses. We had budgeted our bridge revenue at 80% of our pre-COVID year, 2019. We actually came in at 84% in April, so a little increase for April. Unfortunately, it really had nothing to do with the solar eclipse. It had more to do with Easter holidays and school holidays. And we continue to see a slight uptick, so we're hoping that this continues throughout the summer. Our marine terminal revenue is up. We assume that there is no salt left at the end of the fiscal year. You never know whether it's all going to be used, how hard the winter is. We do have salt still on the dock, so we do have an increase in our revenue for the quarter. The bridge expense, our salary expense, is healthily under budget, if you will. We had not yet in April hired our bridge crew and our groundskeepers. We will see that probably at the end of May, beginning of June. They're all here now, so they are now on the table. With the new line of credit at the airport, we moved the normal debt interest expense down to our principal and interest on loans below the line. So that this will only be the interest that we incur on the line of credit. We can track it better if we break them out. That's why at the moment this is zero. We will start seeing interest in that line very soon. Our utility expense at the industrial park, as we say all the time, we assume that there are no tenants in the industrial park paying utilities. As there are, this should always be a credit balance. Our marine terminal expenses, we have just not had as much work at the port as we had hoped for, or at least budgeted. We budgeted over 12 months instead of saying there would be ups and downs. So we may see a change in this as the summer goes on, but that's why our salary and our general expenses are less than budgeted. And our principal and interest payments on loans at the bottom of our page, when the budget was created, we had not anticipated taking money off of our general line of credit, which we had to. And this difference is exactly what we're paying on the line of credit until we can pay it off. And we do have an excess in our compensating balance account that we are going to transfer over, and that will bring this down almost in half. So we're excited that we do have the funds that we have put aside in the past to help pay for this. Any questions on the budget cash flow? Okay, our little cash flow is color coded so we can follow it. And you'll notice that for the most part, you will be seeing in the cash flow what we were talking about with the extra layer in the airport revitalization project. So what was spent in April, our 76% reimbursement did not appear until June. Part of the May will be reimbursed in July, and there's a little bit in the June payment that will be reimbursed in July. But most of the orange, you'll notice we don't see until August. And the revitalization project, what we received from New York State is 76.381155% of what, I don't know how they got that number. That's what they reimburse us, and we pay the additional 23%, which is why these numbers are not exact across the board. But we have other funding sources that cover our portion of the project. Otherwise, pretty much everything in the cash flow is as we would expect. And the fact that the terminal project has now begun in earnest, our grant portion is now what we would expect because of the project, which we didn't have last year. Any questions on the cash flow? I'll turn it back to you.
Yeah, that's it. That's all we have for.
Nothing else for finance committee?
Nope, nothing else to report.
Okay, so under other reports, we've had the income expense report, bridge traffic report.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. As Patty said, we're only 84%, so that would be 15.9% down over 2019, which is our normal year. Auto crossings were down 16.6, truck traffic was down 10.5, and overall revenue was down 37,000 over May of 2019. Revenue, the good news is revenue is up 10,000 over last year. So just more of the same trend. Nothing's really breaking out. I suppose that's good. We're still above where, as Patty stated, where we estimated for our budget.
Right, good. Any questions? Airport activity report?
Yes, so for the month of May, again, we're still around the 30% load factors. for the month of May. A decline from last month. Last month we had 36%. But we're still keeping a high completion rate and on-time performance still doing well for the month of May. Barely any flight cancel and barely any flight delay during the month of May.
Okay, but we're still only at 1954
For the year.
employments, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions of Charlie on the airport activity report? That will move to the port activity report.
Actually,
James, or you had something else, Charlie?
yes. So the thing that you, Mr. Chairman, you have to request it for the water pipe that's right in front of you.
In public session?
I'm not familiar with. Yeah, what, I knew you wanted it, did you just want the other board members to see exactly what?
This
Yeah.
is just the direction of the pipe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we're good.
You good?
Yep,
Okay,
we're
perfect.
good. We already have the agreement is already in place with the city.
Right,
Correct.
and that drawing shows,
A reference of it.
yeah, references the agreement there.
Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, on there you see the top line, the solid, well, the darker line on the top. That's your water line on the top. On the side of the building, if you're actually looking at it, that towards the edge of the right hand bottom corner, that's what the GSC building that we moved. That used to be there. And then the bottom is the sewer line on the first picture. So it shows both those lines coming into the connection right next to the property where the new building is going to be at.
Right, and this is the line coming from Franklin Street, right?
If you go to second page, it will shows you where it actually comes from. So if you look all the way to the left on New York State Route 37, that's where it's coming from that connection, and then crossing 37, and then that's where they start connecting in.
They're going across our property?
Yes.
So, the line is larger than we had originally anticipated. And part of the arrangement with the city is because we have the ability to repair that, it's a 12-inch line.
Correct.
And it makes for easier to expand in the future, correct?
Correct.
That's the change I'm not sure the board has been aware of from the last time we talked about this project. So the line, 12-inch line actually comes to, like you said, Charlie, where the new construction will be, heads west to 812, and then from that point toward Hewelton, that's city expense. Correct?
Correct.
Okay, which actually, you might as well say, opens up a new water district for the city.
Correct.
Okay? Any other questions regarding that? No? All right. Charlie, anything else?
Good. Thank you.
No? We can move on to port activity report.
So for salt, we had everything buttoned up for salt and tarping for the season, but had a couple last minute townships decide that they wanted to mix their sand salt mixture for next year, which didn't affect us one bit. Recovered the piles, and we'll continue and wait until we expect any type of delivery or new salt for the new season.
Does the remainder of what's there, does it stay? I know that showed up on our income report, so does that just stay there?
Yep.
And then they just add to it next season when we start to get stuff?
Correct.
Okay.
On to the meal and pellet inventory. We received 10 rail cars of meal in the month of May and loaded out, which was about 950 tons, and loaded out 9 trucks with 312 tons. Pellets, we didn't receive any rail cars for the month of May and yet have to for June and currently just zeroed out this week. But as you see, last month we loaded 12 trucks, resulting in 363 tons. We recently had an inspection audit with the customer that went fairly well this week. And besides that, things have been fairly slow down at the port, but we've been preparing for that inspection audit and continuing to just clean up the buildings, the property to get things better, get things looking better and to prepare for the upcoming season.
So our pellet inventory is down to 0.
Correct.
And our meal, Dave, did you tell me that's not actually used local?
Well, a couple of things, there's a couple strikes in Canada now too, so there's not much meal moving around. I gave you guys.
Thank you.
We'll get somewhere with that.
Yeah, and I don't know, just to talk maybe possibly more long-term than expected, and if it is, then maybe they'll use us as an alternate.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it's, it's not moving out by rail, so we wouldn't expect, I don't think we'd expect much rail because of the strike, so.
But it gives, even if nothing happens, it gives us exposure to them.
But we should.
Right.
Yeah.
It's opened up the door for us, so that's good.
Good. Thank you. Anything else, James?
Nope, that is it from port.
Any questions of James? If not, we'll move to the economic development report, including the building occupancy.
Great. So starting with the building occupancy report, pleased to report that everything has been holding the course, staying steady. We're currently at the 88% occupancy. We have been showing the space to various companies, one in particular that deals in the distribution of quality assurance instruments for agri-food and pharmaceutical industries. So that was, those discussions are ongoing, but they're very serious about coming to Ogdensburg and expanding their product line in the US. So that is good. We've had a number of meetings with the architects and the engineering firm for the childcare facility to start building out plans and layouts, and that's progressing forward. And those meetings are in conjunction with the ARC, so the ARC staff on meeting their needs for the operation of the facility. So it's really nice to start seeing things come to fruition on that front. Over the past month, we worked with about 15 tenants on renewing and getting their leases in line, new leases. So we have a pretty good low turnover rate, thankfully, for our tenants. So pleased to report on that.
So you think the firms you're talking to may take a sizable amount of that space in building 4?
I think we'll come up a couple of % on the occupancy.
So at 90%, and way back when I first got here, we talked about if our occupancy rate was over 85%, we basically had no room.
Yeah, the available space we have left is I don't want to say the least of the space, but it's the most, difficult, undesirable.
Right. So, what questions coming next?
Yes.
A 40,000 square foot building with designed for higher roofs, for being capable of stacking, is something we should consider in a relatively near future.
Yes, we should be going after that. We have the land to develop to expand the Commerce Park. It's prime ready to go, so that is a very good direction to go in.
Okay, that will be on our agenda for next month on a road trip. Anything else of Anthony, or did you have anything else?
Not for tonight, no.
Any other, no questions of Anthony?
Thank you.
Any unfinished business?
No, Mr. Chairman.
I'm not sure if everyone is aware, I think we are, that we have a new member that was confirmed by the Senate last week. Unfortunately, she was out of town this week. It's Diane Terra. Let's hope she can join us next month meeting. I have requested her to schedule a tour with Mr. Lawrence, since a lot of people don't understand what we do here until they've seen it. So hopefully next week, I don't know when she's back, but hopefully sometime next week. And if possible, I'd like to be included in that tour if possible. I don't know what her schedule is. Actually, I'm off the next 2 weeks, kind of. So maybe we can work that out.
Okay.
But that would be good. And I understand we have 2 others who actually got reappointed.
Yeah.
Finally, finally.
You're stuck with me again.
So get your oath of office in.
Already done.
That will make you the most senior member. Because your terms, I mean, to the end of your term.
Like what?
First it's Mr. Pickman.
No, so long as I'm,
Everyone-
so long as, so long as I'm here, I'll probably always be the most senior member. Your appointments, I think, and that was a question, I asked a question. Traditionally, our terms are always 5 years.
5 years.
So that's what I'm waiting to get back from the governor's office, that it's 5-year term. So there. Gotta teach you. So,
I have not submitted my oath of office.
It's right here.
maybe I shouldn't have said 5
I
years.
was gonna say.
Is there any additional comments from board members or authority staff? No? The next proposed meeting is Thursday, July 11th at 5 PM. Is there any consensus at this time?
I cannot be there.
I probably won't be
I cannot be there.
Well, that takes care of that. So, would you have Karen pull the board to whatever is a good time for everyone? So, in light of that, nothing else?
I have a question.
Yes.
The relationship with the city council and the Bridgeport Authority, them making a decision and endorsing Breeze.
Mhm.
Was that a conflict or problem for this board? Because the community support was important, you know, what that is. And so in other words, even if your logic was to go with somebody else,
Mhm.
I think you would have been, I don't say you've been stuck, but I mean, obviously it's your responsibility, DOT will make that decision. But
Right.
I was wondering if that made a difference one way or the other. If you made the endorsement instead of them first. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I'm just saying this,
No.
what would have made a difference?
You know, I thought it was important to get community involvement, which is why we met out at the airport and invited whoever wanted to show up. Thanks to WWNY and North Country Now and the Watertown Times, everyone was aware of that. You know, it was good to hear the comments. Would any of us have voted differently? I don't know, but you know, the feedback is always good. It was nice to have people here, including yourself.
Sure.
Thank you. And, you know, sometimes not everyone has the same information we do, but yeah, I have no problem with having opposing viewpoints. I think it's good. Hopefully, additional citizens will come to our meetings and better understand what we do here. So, no, I don't have a problem with that.
Just can't,
I thought I haven't left once I listened to all the reports and stuff. Oh, here we go.
I did a survey of the comments that are on the docket.
Oh,
So
okay.
she can give you just everybody a rundown of, you know, who
Sure.
supported what and in what ways? You did a good job of that.
I pulled 72 out of the 95. There were 95 comments. in
Oh,
the docket.
nice.
wow.
An awful lot of them were anonymous. So I took some as a sampling, but I stayed mostly with people who had actually put their name on it. We even had John Doe.
Well, good for
He
him.
was such a person.
And Jane as well?
No, Jane wasn't there. There were 12 general comments, more along the lines of, the first most important thing is where you go, but the second most important thing is reliability.
Right.
Those types of comments. There were 12 people who simply wanted to go to Chicago. They didn't care what airline took them there. They wanted to go to Chicago.
Sure.
There were
That'd be
7
nice.
that were pro for boutique. There were 8 that were pro for Contour. There was 1 that just wanted to go to Washington. They didn't care how they got there either. Then there were 32 that were for Breeze and/or direct to Florida. But one has to remember that when the proposals went out,
Right.
DOT had not put the limit
Right.
that restricted EAS service. So people were looking at the old proposal. And so it was 44% of those that I pulled off the website or the docket that supported Breeze coming in.
And it's my understanding, this is Breeze's first time they bid EAS, is that correct?
That's very correct. It's
So
the first
that-
one in the country.
Yeah,
Exciting.
that's interesting too. And what action we took tonight doesn't stop us, once DOT speaks, approaching them and asking them for additional flights outside of EAS.
Correct.
Direct flights if possible. Good. Anything else?
It was good to see the public.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank
yeah.
you for doing that.
that's good. In light of that, I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. And seconded. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We stand adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, wait,